May I now invite Mr. Devansh Jain, Executive Director, INOXGFL Group, to give his perspective, please.
Yeah. Honorable Minister Prahlad Joshi ji, distinguished dignitaries, industry leaders and colleagues, good afternoon. It's a privilege to address all of you on a subject that's not just central to India's economic future, but also its strategic future towards 500 gigawatts, scale, speed, and self-reliance. And I think over the past couple of days, everyone's talking about enhancing this target. Rahul spoke about a terawatt. We're talking to the minister about making it 750 gigawatt. Everyone can pick their own numbers. India today stands at a defining moment in its energy transition journey. The ambition of achieving 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity is more than just a climate commitment. It's a national developmental mission, which is integral to energy security, industrial competitiveness, manufacturing leadership, job creation, and ultimately, India's rise as a clean energy superpowerhouse. What makes this journey even more remarkable is that India recognized the importance of renewable energy way before most other developed economies, thanks to the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Modi. The 500 target reflects not just that visionary thinking. Today now, as the world navigates geopolitical uncertainties, supply chain disruptions, energy security concerns, inflationary pressures and climate risks, countries across the globe are increasingly moving in this very direction, which India chose a few years ago, towards a cleaner, more secure, and more self-reliant energy system. In fact, 2 days ago, of course, everyone's been reading the newspapers, Honorable Prime Minister emphasized on ways and means to address our forex issues in the backdrop of the massive impact that events in the Middle East have had. It is heartening to note that despite the massive ramp-up over the past decade, India's renewable energy sector has been able to keep external dependencies in check. While in the wind sector we are more or less Atmanirbhar, we are rapidly moving towards Atmanirbharta across the solar value chain as well, and would have otherwise had a massive effect on our forex reserves and our fuel sources. In many ways, India is no longer following the energy transition, global transition. India is helping define it. Over the last decade, India has demonstrated that renewable energy can no longer be viewed as an alternative source of power. It is now becoming the mainstream foundation of our energy architecture. What is particularly remarkable is the pace at which this transformation is unfolded in India. We've emerged as the world's fastest growing renewable energy market, supported by visionary policy making, strong institutional support, wide-scale private sector participation, as well as favorable project economics and returns. But the next phase of growth will require a different approach. The first phase of India's journey was about proving viability. The next phase is about achieving scale with speed while simultaneously building self-reliance. And this is where the real challenge and opportunity lies. Today, to achieve 500 gigawatts of renewable energy, India will require accelerated execution across the entire value chain, from generation to transmission to storage to manufacturing, financing, skilling, as well as technology innovation. In my view, there are three critical priorities that will determine the success of this mission. While Girish Bhai and Rahul have spoken a little bit about that, I'll just elucidate a little bit more. First, faster project implementation. Land acquisition, transmission, connectivity, environmental approvals, and state-level clearances must move in a more synchronized manner. And I know the central government is taking all measures to enable this. Second, grid modernization and flexibility need to become core. As renewable energy penetration increases, the importance of transmission infrastructure, smart grids, storage systems, and balancing mechanisms will become absolutely critical. And third, affordability with a long-term policy stability. India's renewable success story has been built on competitive tariffs and 12 years of very stable and predictable policies under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister. Maintaining affordability while ensuring healthy returns for developers and manufacturers will require stable policies to lower financing costs and ensure continued confidence from global and domestic investors. One of the key drivers for this, obviously, will be large-scale FDI into the country. of which we've attracted close to about 23 billion in the past 25 years, we'll need to extrapolate this multiple times as we move forward. This mission is a strategic opportunity for India to address its energy future in a sustainable manner and emerge as a global supplier in the clean energy economy. At INOXGFL, we strongly believe that India's renewable journey cannot depend solely on imported technologies and supply chains. True energy independence requires manufacturing independence across the entire value chain. The geopolitical shifts we are witnessing globally have made one thing very clear. Countries that control clean energy supply chains will shape the world will shape the economic future of the world in the future. India, therefore, must deepen domestic capabilities across solar modules, cells, wind turbines, storage technologies, power electronics, green hydrogen equipment, and other critical components. Competing globally will require Indian manufacturers to move beyond cost competitiveness alone. We must build world-class engineering capabilities, we must in global R&D, and we must strengthen intellectual property creation. And we must position India not only as a market, but as a global manufacturing and export hub for clean energy technologies. As renewable energy penetration rises, storage and transmission will become the backbone of the energy transition. The future energy system will not be defined only by generation, but by flexibility of that capacity. Pump storage, battery storage systems will play a decisive role in enabling renewable energy integration. We must think of storage not only as an additional add-on, but as core infrastructure. Similarly, as I mentioned, transmission infrastructure must become core to the future of our renewable penetration. India's ambitions will only succeed if generation and transmission scale together. Today, industries are increasingly seeking reliable, cost-effective, and round-the-clock power solutions to meet their decarbonization goals as well as global supply chain commitments. Policy support for open access, banking mechanisms, transmission availability, and simplified regulatory frameworks will be essential to accelerate the adoption of C&I segments. And finally, the energy transmission is also a policy people transmission objective. India's clean energy future will require not just new talent across engineers, technicians, and specialists, but also a change in mindset by each one of us to do our little bit to contribute towards greening India. The clean energy transition has the potential not only to create jobs, but create globally competitive future energy jobs. So ladies and gentlemen, just to sum it up, India's renewable energy story is no longer just about sustainability. It's about strategic leadership for India. It's about economic resilience for India. It's about technology capability. And it is about national self-confidence. As we stand here in 26, the journey towards 500 gigawatts seems imminently achievable. We're all talking of increasing that target, albeit with challenges along the way. But India has repeatedly demonstrated that when vision aligns with execution, scale becomes achievable. What gives me confidence is that today the government, industry, and investors are all moving in the same direction. The opportunity before us is historic. India can become not only one of the world's largest renewable energy markets, but one of the world's most important clean energy manufacturing and technology leaders. At INOXGFL, we remain deeply committed to contributing to this national mission across the breadth of manufacturing, infrastructure creation, renewable power generation, and the EV ecosystem. The next decade will define the global energy order, and I firmly believe the next decade is for us to make ours. India will lead it. Thank you and Jai Hind.